We should probably get the beer and the cookies.
I'm so full. The service here is great.
Do we really want more truffle stuff?
We crushed that jar. I just feel like a little bit unwell.
All right. Oh, welcome back.
Oh yes. Well, we forgot. This is a continuation. Part 2, you could say.
If you missed part 1, be sure to go check it out. It's where we cooked tagliolini al tartufo. Tagliolini with white truffle sauce.
Yeah, the truffle not so much.
Not too much truffle, but it was delicious nonetheless.
Okay, so our cooking series was supposed to include a little Q&A in it, but we got so wrapped up in things not going according to plan, and then also the cooking time being approximately 5 minutes, that we never really got a chance to answer the questions that you guys submitted for us. So now this is the dessert part of it, you could say, where we will be trying the truffle beer that we bought.
That doesn't sound
This
right
was my
to
fault, to be honest with you. If this is terrible, that's on me. I just have never seen something like this. It was €9.
Yeah.
So this could have been a bad idea. But we also overpaid for 2 cookies from the bakery we got our bread at. And we thought we'd have a little dessert and Q&A.
There we go though.
I was a little bit too excited today.
Oh no, it smells like really strong truffle.
Does it? I feel like I just overdid it with that truffle paste. So
You gotta smell it.
wait. Oh. This may have been good an hour ago for me, but we went ham on that mushroom truffle paste that I'm feeling a little ill right now. That actually smells amazing. So I'm curious to see if you like it. Really?
That is the strangest beer I've ever drunk in my entire life.
Is it nice?
It's like you drink a normal beer, but then there's it's like you're being blown with truffle smells at the same time. Like having a sip of a normal beer, but there's a breeze of truffle coming on.
Interesting. We're wafting, we're wafting. Do you like it?
I have no idea. It's like, imagine eating the pasta
Yeah.
at the same time as taking a sip of lager.
Okay.
That's exactly what it tastes like.
This actually smells good, but
It's
I'm
so
worried it's
good.
gonna send me over the edge. Okay. We'll see. Salute. I see what you mean. That actually tastes exactly how it smells.
But you can't tell, the
Okay.
taste is not there though.
If you did watch the video just before this where we made the truffle pasta and then we added the truffle mushroom paste, that disclaimer, we polished, completely finished it. I think that's why my stomach's hurting right now. I said, I could drink this. And I feel like the tides have turned and that's actually come true, which I'm not mad about. If I didn't just eat that entire jar, I could probably chug this. That is actually really good.
You like it?
I actually
How
really
weird
do.
though, eh?
I just feel like we've just overdone it with the truffle today. It's almost like you're drinking a beer and eating a truffle hors d'oeuvre at the same time.
What's a truffle hors d'oeuvre? What did you just say?
Okay, you know when you're in the store and you put that stuff on the little baby cracker?
Huh?
Okay, kind of like like a snack, an hors d'oeuvre, like an appetizer, a snack. You know when people walk around with those little bites at a wedding or something?
Like a sampling.
Yes.
So why did you say hors d'oeuvre?
First of all, it's not like I made up the word. Second of all, it's literally that, plus you're having a sip of beer on the side.
What language is hors d'oeuvre?
It's French,
That explains it.
I'm pretty sure.
Why do you know French,
I'll fact
Micha?
check that. Because I studied it,
Why did you study French, Micha?
which is exactly why my pronunciation in Italian sometimes is off when I say chocolat instead of
Chocolato.
cioccolato.
Why did you have to study French?
Excellent question, Matteo. Now I feel like I'm being interviewed. When growing up in Canada, we had to take French as a second language, of course. And then I moved to California, then we started studying Spanish. Luckily, they're Latin-based languages are all pretty much the same. Very similar. So when I started studying Italian, it was like easier because I had kind of the basics already. But now when I speak, apparently the part of your brain that pulls foreign language all stems from literally the same part. So when I'm trying to speak, I could be pulling from Spanish, French, and Italian simultaneously to put one sentence together. So when my pronunciation's a little bit off, it's because my brain is like, I've just been studying these languages my whole life and I forget to switch, or I'll be like, wait, it's not chocolat or ascenseur in French. It's la chance. What is it in Italian? It's l'ascensore. In French, it's ascenseur. So it's.
Why else should you speak French?
Why else should I speak French?
Shouldn't it be your third language?
It should be my third.
Why should it be your third language? You guys wanted to get to know us?
I get this. I guess this is a get to know us, me now session of being interviewed by my own husband here. In Lebanon, they can usually speak, for the most part, 3 languages fluently. That's English, Arabic, and French. So yes, I speak Arabic is my second language fluently, and then French. Then I lost it. Then it's just been like this. So that's why.
Now that we've got to that point, I forgot what we're talking about.
If my parents never moved out of Lebanon, I guess I would speak French fluently. But then we
would
would have never met.
met.
So you wouldn't know that about me.
No.
I actually like this. I am genuinely upset that I just made myself ill off of that other paste.
€9 worth?
For the experience, yes. Mish thinks it's worth it. Anyway, on to dessert. So, a few weeks ago, although if we're talking in real time, last week, from the time of us asking and posting the Ask Us Your Questions, We're Giving You Answers video, it's been 5 days. But you won't be getting this for a while. So we asked you, we'll pause on the cookies really quick and tell you if those were worth it in a second.
Cookies are getting put in the dog box.
I did write all of the questions down that everyone asked us in between Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. But I did put these in an order that I feel like makes the most sense.
She's in charge of questions.
I digress.
First question.
And action. Our first question
For those of you that haven't clicked off.
For those of you who are still here. Is from Nina. A lot of you guys have been with us from the beginning. So Nina is one of those viewers who's been with us from the pretty much like all the way at the beginning. So Nina's question is, how long do we expect to live in Italy considering the rate at which we are traversing the country? We have 18 more regions to do, and she really hopes we can accomplish our goal of visiting all 20 regions. Now, for the OG fans who have been with us from the beginning, in Sicily, we did a Sicily Q&A, and that was the first question we basically addressed because it did take us pretty much a year to get through. Well, not even a year. It took us a few months, but by the time we had finished posting the content, it had been a year.
We've changed slightly since then, but still with the same-ish answer.
Yeah, so our answer back then, which I will still pretty much stand by, is that we're going to try and do every region the most justice that it deserves. Not deserves. Every region deserves its due diligence, you could say, because we want to make sure we cover as much as possible for everyone. But I think on this journey, especially now in Tuscany, we've honed in even more what we're enjoying, what we want to explore more. The whole point of the Q&A was so you guys get to know more like the reality of our journey. The cooking series was to bring you guys in with us because we prefer to cook and eat at home versus, going out to a restaurant. And we're discovering these things on the journey as we go. So we want to bring you guys along in with us on that. We get more local experiences. For instance, when we did the La Vendemmia with our friend Pietro, who had hosted us for a while in Florence, that we couldn't have foreseen. That's not something we had planned. It's something that just happened and it was amazing. So any of you guys who love travel, part of the magic of it is the unknown. We have a structure and we plan, but there's so many unknowns that come up during our travels, and that is a part of the beauty of it. That being said, we used to cover a lot of museums and like all the churches, but we're gonna start being a little bit more selective, you could say.
I think I can quote you from Q&A in Sicily. So to answer the question of how long is it going to take us to do all 20 regions, it's going to take as long as it takes, right?
Well, that was actually pretty good. I think you're right.
Sicily might take 1 year. Tuscany we might have, oh geez.
Okay, to be fair, we
Tuscany's taken 1.5 years, but that's because we weren't in Tuscany for 1.5 years. That's a whole nother story. You're gonna have to ask more questions. We're gonna have to have literally series that answer the questions that came up in the question series. But again, I digress now.
But if you were to count up the actual time we spent filming, it's barely like 3 months or 4 months.
But then you get smaller regions. What if there's less to do? It depends what season we're in. It depends, can we drive? Which currently
we'll be getting to that.
Cannot drive. Is that one of the questions that we have to answer this time around?
It's not, but that does have a part to do with it. So there's going to be a lot of follow-up questions to this, I am sure. So we still stand behind every week is gonna take as long as it's gonna take from Micha a while ago. Geez, almost 2 years ago now. But I think we are gonna start incorporating more into the journey. Not necessarily, and by not necessarily, I mean like not more museums and churches, not more like historical sites, as cool as they are, and we do have an interest in them, and we will still be doing our city guides because, you know, we like to see a place and we also want to show it to you guys and show you how to do it and how much it costs and where to go and what to see and things like that. There's just more layers to it, and there's just more life here than just going to see things. That just kind of makes it feel more like a journey instead of just city, 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 city. So we are honing in what we like, what we don't like, and
pretty much what she's saying is that we have been doing the things that we thought we should be doing more than the things that we want to be doing. That we had to visit this museum, that church, all the churches, all the museums, when we didn't actually want to see all of them. And instead we neglected doing the things we want to do. We started visiting more, well, when we do visit restaurants, we don't even want to be at the restaurants in the first place. Restaurants aren't even a big part of our lives.
Yeah, I like never.
Like restaurants aren't a big part of our lives. Like, I don't know, a lot of people love restaurants. We love spending time together and cooking and just hanging out. That's more of our lives than, maybe it comes from both of us coming from really big families, very close-knit families. We just like spending time with each other. We like spending time with our families. We're not really about restaurants all the time. We like to cook. We like to experience new things together. But it doesn't have to be at a restaurant. We both come from loud families. We don't have to be at a restaurant. We have a beer around a braai, which is a barbecue in South African. You guys do your Arab thing.
We grill our kefta on the barbecue. But no, but it's the same for me. I mean, like as a kid growing up, we never had money to go to a restaurant. I don't know. Like I think our annual thing was going to hometown buffet because like that's when all of us could get together, you know. And it was like we're going out to eat. So, I mean, I know restaurants, I mean, it is nice when we can go, like, for the Fiorentina steak and things where it's very hard to eat at home, but I don't know. I think we're also making this journey a little bit more of our own. I think when we started out, it was very much, we did all this research. What do we need to do? What do we need to see? But
cover every city.
Cover everything in that city, and it was great, and I loved it, and I think we both, it was so new to us, but now every region I know is going to have, I mean, there's so many different histories and everything that goes into each one and different foods, but there's just more than just the sights. And I think that's what we're realizing. And we just want to get more into the life part of it versus just the like sightseeing part of it, which we honestly think everyone will enjoy, you know, like cooking and sitting around a table and trying to figure out a recipe, you know, I think is something a lot of people can relate to. And yeah, it's just what we prefer to do, and we like, to be honest with you, this new cooking series has given us an excuse in a way to go into these shops that we forever just walk by. We'll window shop and be like,
we can't afford that.
We can't. We literally can't. The same way with the restaurants. When we go there, it's kind of justified because, oh, well, we're going to spend the money on the meal, but we're filming it to show people and explain to them what this dish is and where to come and eat it. And so it feels more justified to spend the money. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't sit down and eat there because that's just not something that we can necessarily afford. And the same with the cooking. Like never in my life would I have gone into a truffle store and spent €13 on a truffle this big, but because we're cooking it and we want to experience the dish and, you know, bring you guys into the kitchen with us, and maybe you can make it at home if you have these local ingredients near you, it kind of justifies it a bit and allows us to really experience another side of the culture that otherwise we probably would just be like, we just can't afford this. But
I think that's a big word that you use, is that culture, is that we've been experiencing the art, the architecture, the religious part of it more than we have the culture. We've been trying the foods, but not really interacting with too many people, just going to a restaurant and whispering in the corner, but not understanding what goes behind the dish. I didn't know you had to like buy a truffle like that, wash a truffle.
I know.
Only for it to not taste like a truffle.
Only for you to eat €100 worth of the
Like
truffle
this-
for it to taste like something.
We're not used to buying fresh pasta. This is such an exciting part to figure out, is that we it sounds cocky, but we know how to, if you want to guide on a city, we can do a guide on a city. Like we will go and do our best to explore that city and figure out what it has to offer. That's easy. We can do that. But it doesn't feel challenging. It doesn't feel like we're growing in the way that we want to grow. And if you ask her, when we went home last December back to South Africa, and the time that I spent at home for a few months, I had goals for myself coming back. One of them was to improve my Italian, which I think is
Your
happening.
Italians, you do not give yourself enough credit for the...
Especially after a few drinks. My Italian, I get better at Italian after a few drinks than I do English. I stumble. I was just slow with English. Italian, my Italian becomes like...
I know, I'm like, who is this guy? But you're Italian even when you're not. Like, you do not give yourself enough credit.
Yeah, thank you. My other goal was to try and interact with more locals, which is not a natural thing you can force. You can't just force.
And then you can't force
dealing
something
with
organic.
locals, you can't. Yeah, that's it. The
You can't
organic.
force
You
for
can't
something
make that
organic.
organic without it being organic. So that's one thing that we also seem to be doing naturally. Another one was, what is my
I know
last
what
one?
the other one was.
What is my other one again?
You're like, yeah, when we go back, we really need to just get more into trying the restaurants.
We have to try the restaurants.
We really need to
We had to eat more
We
because
really
the
need
world,
to try.
the internet wants us to eat more. But we don't even like going to eat more.
God, I was like, and now we did it once and we're like, we can't do this. We're like, this is just not us.
It's like getting given a chocolate cake
Yeah.
and enjoying the chocolate cake, but you're more interested in learning how the chocolate cake was made than you were eating the chocolate cake.
But I think in life, I think for me and you, we find more joy. And this isn't for everybody, but like we want to feel like, not that you earned it all the time or like worked for it all the time, but like there's a certain satisfaction and not like you put it together yourself. Like you figured it out. You like...
We are creators. That's
you know
what
what I mean? Like you hope like when I used to help my mom in the kitchen or like you're making something and it takes like a day, you gotta wait for the dough to rise, like, and then by the time you eat it, it's like, oh, you can like taste the fruits of your labor. Do you know what I mean? Like now, I didn't know how complicated this was with a truffle. Now I'm like, we should have bought a toothbrush. We should have
It was
like
4 ingredients and we managed to somehow, actually, we didn't mess it up. We just couldn't afford.
we couldn't afford the flavor.
One of the ingredients seemed to, I should have invested in gold. I should have just bought a gold nugget.
That's why they call truffle, what is it, the golden mushroom. But it's true. I think times we have gone out, like it's been good at the restaurants, but I think me and you like a challenge and we want to like feel like we've put in the work and like you get to like reap the rewards of your labor.
Plus, if you have a YouTube channel or ever try to record a video out in public, it's hard enough in public. Try to do it in a restaurant where you're trying not to ruin everybody else's meal by being those loud influencers in the corner, which we got called the other day on our comments. I was quite proud. I was like, we influencers, come on.
all the influencers go to this restaurant. I was like, oh God. I was like, don't say that.
The influencers do this, the influencers do that.
That word to me is like...
Yeah, but that's because influencers has such a negative connotation. Like, I would happily take on that word if we're making a positive change in somebody's life.
Yeah, of course.
We're
yeah,
influencing
of course.
it for the right reasons. And I think we heavily monitor not giving out the wrong signals to people, not encouraging people to do bad, to be bad.
But also, like,
people.
we would never push something that, like nothing we've done up until this point, and I can't see into the foreseeable future, has been, like, sponsored or paid for. Like, we've paid for everything. We've been reached out to for, like, people to sponsor us, and we don't take them because I don't want to feel an obligation that you have to report really good, you know, because they're paying you to do this thing. So we are very protective of that. We're very protective of, like, you guys. I don't know if that sounds, like, weird, but I don't know. I'm like, we're going to give our honest opinion on something. And I feel like if we take a sponsor, it's going to, I mean, maybe they'll be like, yeah, you can review it however you want. But I think me and you are very like, we're just too honest. I'm like, we're going to just pay for it and tell you how it is, you know? Granted, I feel like me and you are I'm not a complicated person. It doesn't, like, take much to make me happy. I'm not very, like, nitpicky. So where some people might complain, I'm like, oh no, it was great. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
We're very, like, low.
We're not
low
ones to
maintenance.
bring people.
I'm not very nitpicky. Like, I'm very happy with most of the time. I mean, something has to be, like, pretty bad
It takes
for me to complain.
very little to please us, and that's why we don't write things on TripAdvisor or leave reviews on Booking.com, or because we aren't easily bothered. People find some stuff annoying, and we'll be like,
oh, I didn't even notice that, you know, but I don't know. That's also, since why you've never seen any sponsored content, because we do get reached out to, but we just don't. No, I'm just too protective of us building what we're building for us to do that. What were we talking about?
This is so ridiculous. We just spoke for so long, and we don't even know what the question was. Okay. We completely forgot what question we were answering.
Oh. Did we? No, it was Nina's question on how long they think it's going to take us. Circling back, we still think it's going to take however long it's going to take. But I also think that
we're trying to get faster.
We're trying to get faster, but it's also like we thought we had to, like, leave no stone left unturned, and we did take a 9-month break away from the country because we had to go home. Like, I needed time with my family. My mom is not doing well. I hadn't met my niece who was born recently, and I hadn't been in the last decade. I've barely been home, and it's just, this is my dream. This has been my dream since I was a kid, but that doesn't mean it's not a lot, and it's not hard work. We work very hard every single day. I feel like we're always working, and then I'll go to sleep at the end of the day, go into bed, and I'm like, what did I even do today? Like, I know I've been working all day, but, like, what was I doing? And we love it, but yeah, at some point, I mean, I'm 31, and I'm like, I need to go home. I really felt like we hit an inflection point, you know? And it's hard. I mean, for any of you who can relate to your parents getting older, my mother was early onset dementia, which has spiraled, you know, really out of control recently after my father passed away and post-COVID by herself in her apartment. So there's just been a lot going on personally, and we just felt like, okay, this is a good time. We had backed up enough content, and I did need to go home and spend a couple months at home with my mom and with my sisters. And, you know, Matteo, unfortunately, like, this does not pay enough for him to come with me. Otherwise, he would have. And
sadly, I haven't seen our family in six years.
Yeah, basically since the year we got married. And it's really difficult. And it's, obviously, we're very blessed to have his family in South Africa, my family in America, and be able to do this. We recognize our blessings a lot. But doing this as a job full-time for both of us, we can't just keep our foot on the gas 24/7. And same with any show that you watch. It could be Emily in Paris, it could be Bridgerton, it could be Game of Thrones, like anything. They do them in seasons. Like, you have time to write and cast and produce and film and edit and get the stuff scheduled and all of that kind of stuff. And so on YouTube, you're not allowed to do that really in the normal sphere of things.
We're welcoming you into the YouTube atmosphere.
I mean, yeah, I feel like
you cannot skip a Saturday, and the only thing we seem to do is skip Saturdays because we look after our mental health and like to focus on us being happy more than we do making excessive money.
Yeah, I mean, like we do, obviously the more you post, the more exposure, the more money, the more everything, but like to make this sustainable, and the fact that we are literally from opposite ends of the earth, and the fact that we put all of our savings into this, and you need time to recoup the funds and all of that kind of stuff, like it's a lot. And on YouTube, it's not normal to take breaks. Like you are posting 24/7, you're constantly in the cycle, and that's why people burn out, and that's why it seems like they're living the dream, but they are falling apart behind the scenes. And yes, like we do not really share that struggle.
Nor do we really want.
I was just gonna say, and we don't.
It doesn't
really
define us to the point that we actually want to complain about our problems, because
we decided to do this.
We chose this path, and the hardships that come with it, as much as, I mean, if you want to know about them, you can ask. But
yeah, we can get more into that if you want.
They don't really change how we make decisions. We still just keep going regardless. If we aired it, maybe it would get worse, because like why if we're gonna hop on something, I don't know. I mean, I just ramble.
But no, I mean, we can get into that more if people have more questions about it. But I feel like, I don't know, we chose this. We are very blessed, and we have support from all of our friends and family. But yeah, I mean, with any job, it's not easy. If it's like starting a business, and you believe in it, and you're putting your own capital and your own savings into it, and trying to build something that you think could be of value for the world and help people. And it is really rewarding to be fueled by your passion and by your, we love this. But that doesn't mean it's not hard, and it's not breaking the bank as budget as we try to be. And because we want this to last, and we want to make it through all 20 regions, and we want this to actually be sustainable, we cannot be pushing full throttle ahead 24/7. Financially, we just keep running out of money, and we need to sit and recoup as we're editing and posting the videos. This is the first time, if you guys have noticed, we're actually kind of posting more in real time, although when you get this video, that is not going to be the case. This is not going to be the case, but it's just a lot. We put a lot of, kind of combined with Nina's question, I think was a question from Fabio, if I am not mistaken. I will double check now. But Fabio was asking if we, like when you guys go to a place, do you like look at this blog or that blog, to decide what you're going to do? And the thing is, like, Matteo, this is where most of the credit is due on his end. I'm more of like it's like a 2-person company. It's like a 2-person production team. If you think of a show, like I said, like any of the shows that you watch, you have your editors, your producers, your directors, you have your actors, you have your color people. I used to be a producer in LA, funny enough, working for montage videos for Google and Facebook. And so I was sitting in the editing sessions, I was going to casting sessions, I would sit in the color studio, then we'd go to another studio for sound. The editor was at another studio in Santa Monica. Like, you have so many hands and so many different companies that do different things, and we have our graphics team just to put together one video. And now with YouTube, we value our quality and we want it to be the best for you guys, and we are a 2-person production team. So I feel like for me, like we both have our roles. Like, I'm operations, I'm like, this is the schedule, this is when we need to go here, here, and here. I'll make the schedule for the day. I think that we should be doing this, doing that. Matteo will do the heavy lifting in terms of the research. Pages and pages and pages. I mean, we have a Google Doc for every single day of filming, and the history behind
every
it.
single city has a doc that has all the information you need to know about the city, how to get there, what to do there, times, everything, which we will. Your first question to your mind must be, well, why don't you share that? Because one day we'll be able to make a doc that is available for people to use to travel, but we do not have the time nor the resources, actually any resources, to try and compile those into something that's of our quality and our standard.
Yeah, like we want it when we put something out, we want it to be good. I mean, and you're saying per city. I mean, dude, we even have you had Siena. We also have Siena Duomo as a separate dock. The whole Duomo complex. I mean, for Florence, like there's just Matteo does so much research, and it's not even about finding one site or like you have the Visit Tuscany, Visit Italy websites, Visit Sicily. Like we use those are generally the best places to start because the tourism website would have.
I click on a city and I right click and I say open a new tab for about the first 10 drop downs. So
yeah.
It's
not just
a lot.
It does, and it's not just finding one. Like, and both of us were like, just because you have to find an answer or an explanation on one website doesn't mean that that's true.
Sometimes the information is different.
Yes, and Matteo likes history, and he's even reading a freaking autobiography of Giuseppe Garibaldi. Like he's genuinely interested in that, but that doesn't mean that it's not a lot of work to make sure that we're fact checking ourselves. Like, oh, we found it on this one website. Okay, cool. Copy paste. But it's like, no, but then the one under it or this other one says this. And he takes time to actually make sure that he's like vetted the info and fact checked it. And
this is why she is doing the research for our cooking, because I'll take it too far.
Yeah, I told him today, I said, listen, I found this dish. I wanted to try it. We were supposed to go to a restaurant to try it. And I'm like, he came up with the idea. He's like, let's cook it at home because we like to cook. But I told him, I was like, you're not allowed. I was like, get your hand off the computer. Like, do not go overboard because I know he will. And then he gets in his head and then he's like, we have to do this, and this. And we wanted it to be more of a fun thing than like a research thing. So sometimes I have to tell him to just like relax for a little bit, which is good. But this is why we take a lot of pride in our work. And I think the hardest part with YouTube, I feel like we totally, sorry, by the way, just like diverged from Nina's question. But I mean, there's just a lot of backstory here. Like, why is this taking so long?
We have a lot of ground to catch up and cover, and this is why we've done so many city videos, only to realize that we've not answered enough questions.
Yeah.
Or it's not like I think we've avoided talking about ourselves because we never wanted to make this
about us.
Yeah, about us. And we wanted to make it about the places and just the country in general. And I think we got to a point now where we're realizing that we're in that process. We missed the connection with you guys. We forgot that we may be called the global expats. We're not like Matteo and Micha, like a lot of the other travel people that the channel's about the person's name, Matteo and Micha. We try to make it more about the country, and I think in the process forgot that we still had you guys on the other end that we wanted to connect with. Yeah. And then we went so hard on trying to give the city justice or the country justice that we forgot that we forgot the human on the other side as well. We forgot to connect with you.
But also I think we, piggybacking off of that, because that is true, but I also think that we forgot that we are the ones also on this journey. And I think like we want to connect with you. I come from a big family. My favorite nights are me hanging out with one of my best friends and just having a one-on-one and just like getting that like kind of soul food and connecting and, we feel like even though we haven't met a lot of you, like you've been there through the journey so far, and we feel like we know you even though we've like never met. And
shout out to you, those of you that are there every week, regardless of what happens.
You guys know who you are. We don't post for months and then we come back and you guys are still there supporting us, which we can't tell you how much we appreciate. But yeah, to Matteo's point, it's like you forget that there's those people, but I also think we forgot that we are two young people on this journey that have been our dream.
And just made it about Italy. Only to become a channel that does helpful content to travel through Italy, but forgot that we can't actually put out weekly videos because we're trying so hard to help Italy travel. It is like a whole...
I mean, it's a lot, and it's
we had a lot of realizations in the last month. Actually, what did I say month? Give me a timeline.
It's been 2.5 years now. It's at the time of filming this, I'm not sure when you're going to see it, but it's mid-November right now. Thanksgiving's actually tomorrow, right?
Yes,
yeah, November 22nd. So Thanksgiving's tomorrow in America. Circling back to Nina and Fabio's point, It takes a long time because we are very thorough. We do not have an editor. We've been offered people who actually once or twice freelance editors, but we feel like our creative process is a lot of the time we go and we film, but the creativity is built in the edit. And so we're not at a point yet because we're still figuring out our style where we would feel comfortable handing that off to somebody else, because that's where we feel like we want to put our personality in it. We want to put our voice into it. We don't want to just manufacture. Same reason we don't have a merch store. And actually, this is now bringing me to another question that I was not going to address today, but it just feels like it's inserting itself, and I just should probably just answer it now. About channel memberships and why, like for Patreon and now YouTube has channel memberships where people can pay a monthly subscription and gain access to extra content from the creator because they pay this monthly subscription. And while we absolutely love that idea, and several of you have supported that and said that you guys would be more than happy to do it, and we love that and we greatly appreciate it, I think we're so afraid of letting everybody down. Like we're already trying our hardest to be consistent and keep this journey going, that we would hate to feel like we're charging a monthly subscription for people to give them X amount of whatever it is, videos, photos, whatever, posts, extra content. And then we can't keep up our end of the bargain. We both are just so...
We really struggle with consistency because we would never continue producing content that is the exact same. That is just, that not growing is not in that's not in our wheelhouse. Like we are going to try and be 10% better with every video that we do. And so instead of just getting something out every Saturday because that's what YouTube wants us to do, we focus on trying to get better every single time we post. And it ends up sometimes taking more than 1 week to do. But we are learning so much in the process, it's actually not even funny. Like
we take a lot of pride in our work, and it's something that like we could just not care so much about each video and get them out faster. But I feel like if we were doing that, one of my favorite quotes that was actually on my very first resume, graduating from college, I had this quote on my resume. I don't even know who said it or where it is from, but it resonated with me so much. And it said, I put it under my thing, and it said, do it with passion or not at all. And I feel like that's something I don't really think about, but when people are like, oh, well, just edit, just like put it online, like who cares, no one will notice, like if you didn't blend this or color that or, make it smooth or, put a creative twist on it. But at the end of the day, I'm like, we both care about this so much. It's like it's a labor of love. And if we're not going to be passionate about it, and if we're not going to care about it, then like, well, what's the point of doing it?
Do it properly or don't do it at all.
Exactly. So, and we've just been, Matteo just got me on Clarkson's farm. Jeremy Clarkson is farming, I think it was on Amazon. And in the very first episode, we just started, well, he's watched it, I just started watching it. But the amazing quote from it was when Jeremy's like land agent tells him about sowing the grain properly. And he says, and Jeremy's like, well, can't I take this shortcut or that shortcut? Like it would be faster if we just like laid it down on the ground. And his agent says, it seems like a lot of work right now, and it's gonna be like a pain in the butt, but well sown is half grown. So if you take the time to sow the seed properly, you're halfway to growing it properly. Instead of just like taking shortcuts and just doing it the fast way just to get it done. While that will satisfy you in the moment, that is not going to do you any favors in the future. And we are both building this as a brand. Like this is a labor of love, and it's something we want to do properly. And we're not coming back to the cities. Like if we've done a city, maybe we'll come back and do something else fun or whatever. But if we're making a city guide,
which is another question, by the way, saying, are we going to come back and do the regions again? But that is literally a whole nother video, because the short answer is yes.
We've actually spoken about
when we've finished
this.
all 20 regions, there's going to be so much that we have missed that weren't able to do during our 20 regions that we'd have to come back. So the short answer for that one is yes.
Yeah, that was another question. And I think we had already talked about it even when we finished Sicily before we started Tuscany. We said there's a few things that we missed that maybe after the 20 regions we kind of do like a 21st where it's like we go through the country and we hit all the things throughout the regions that we missed.
But you got to take seasons into account. This Tuscan journey is missing Elba because it's missing Elba.
Funny enough, we did go to Elba last summer with his parents. We just didn't film it because we were just been filming so much and we wanted to actually take the time to enjoy the vacation with his family.
But there was no point in going to Elba because it's November. Like we didn't have time to go to Elba. We didn't have money to go to Elba. I can't drive. We couldn't go and drive around Elba. It's just not. We have to come back.
Yeah.
There's gonna, and Italy's a very rich country and a very small country. Italy, I think, what did I say? The same size as my province in South Africa. No, Italy's 1/3 the size of South Africa. 1/3.
Yeah. It's so funny because I feel like when I copied and pasted all of these questions on the doc a few days ago, I was like, oh yeah, these are like, we can get through these, but I feel like we haven't actually taken the time to speak with you all properly in this way. Matteo and I talk all day, every day. I mean, like this whole journey is our life. And even though we're posting inconsistently, yes, we are literally working every single day and we're constantly having these discussions about how to make this better. What aren't we thinking of? What would be interesting? And it is our whole life. Yeah. Even though online it seems like you're getting a video here, a video there.
That video has taken us the entirety of the time between the last video or even months before, thinking of that idea, coming up with that script, putting it together, actually going to film it, spending the money on it. Like, it goes so much deeper than that. And I think we talk a lot about the back end and the front end, and what you're getting is the front end. Back end, easily 95% of our work is being done that you're not seeing.
Yeah.
And it's not because we don't want you to see it, it's because all of it is future based. Yeah. That back end, a lot of it is prepping ourselves for later down the line. Even whether that's official stuff, we just filed taxes today for the first time in Italy ever.
And that was
which has been stressing me out, especially for the last year, trying to figure it out.
And we've been on several calls, there's so much, there's papers to sign and send and this person and fees to pay. And
I would say that we just spent our last money on taxes, but we didn't. We had already run out of money by the time we paid taxes, and we're actually having to use some credit from the States to try and good old Uncle Sam to pay for he's covering a few things right now. But there's so many positives. Michelle, she's got her permesso, her carta, she's legal to stay here. Every official thing is done. Our residency is done. IDs, we're on the health system, we filed taxes. The next step, the only step in a way remaining, is to do my license, which is not a necessary thing in terms of everyday life, but obviously something necessary if we're going to complete the ultimate Italian road trip, because that one's kind of self-explanatory, but there's just so much happening on the back end, and this is why we wanted to start just doing these. I know our sound is bad, and
we're still filming on my iPhone 13 with a little ring light.
We're sitting here in the dark, but we feel like we've lost is the wrong word, missed the connection with you. We've literally just missed the connection. We haven't explained enough, but that's because we didn't really feel like that was missing, but that's just because...
But I think we don't think that people... I don't want to say we don't think nobody cares, but when we're building something, we wanted it to be bigger than us, and we wanted it to be this thing that was very valuable and helpful and people could turn to as a resource. And so why would anybody care about necessarily what's going on behind the scenes, right? You just want the show, and that's not... I think this is just how we had kind of framed it in our minds. But the more that we're getting to know you guys, I mean, those of you who constantly comment, and I seriously feel like at this point, we're friends with you, like I said, and we haven't even met you. And I'm like, these are real people on the other end. We're meeting so many subscribers now, just when we're filming on the street and you come and say hello to us. And I'm like, it's like this reminder that you guys are real people and we're real people. And
sometimes we feel this small.
Yeah.
But then how every second city, one of you's walking up to us and saying hello, like,
I know,
and
that's
then we get like a reminder
insane.
that like, oh wait, we have to smile all the time. Like
I know. I was like, was I looking tired when that person walked up and said hello? Because sometimes we're flagging energy-wise, and I need my coffee around 2 or 3 p.m. if I haven't had my second cup.
We're just not having a good day. Like we just sometimes down.
So the other day, I think it was Courtney and Taylor, this couple from Georgia. They saw us at the Siena Duomo the other day, and we were so out of it. Like we were trying to film the Duomo complex. We're gonna go see the cathedral and climb this thing. It was been raining, and we finally had this perfectly blue sunny day, and we're like, oh, perfect, now we can actually start our filming in Siena and whatever. But for some reason that day we were both just so flat, and we each had like a double espresso. We had spent the last 2
days dealing with the final tax. Actually, we started the taxes, and in 2 days had finished the taxes, had sent. We'd managed to go to the, what do we call it? Not the stationery shop, the what do you call the copy area?
Like the copy place. Copy
what's in English?
It's like a copy, like a Staples, like a Kinko's. Like
we had to go print out papers that were needed for a VAT registration of a business in Italy, because that's what we had to do for a YouTube channel in one of our names in a currency that's foreign. So like that was like a whole different thing. Then we had to print it out. We had to like post it off. We had to figure out how to post it off. We had to take a break. We didn't realize.
We had been speaking for an hour.
We got to stop like presuming that we're going to be like 10 minutes. We'll sum this up.
That's the biggest joke we could ever say. No, this is gonna be a short video for sure.
Yeah,
because the cooking video is also supposed to be 10 minutes, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna end up being like 45.
It is going to be 5 minutes of us gathering ingredients.
And like 10 minutes of us cooking. We're like, easy, done.
And as you guys probably just saw, it was not that.
Absolutely not that.
Let's just look at how pretty she looks tonight.
Tonight?
Every night.
What were we saying? Let me regather my thoughts.
And there it is, sitting at the bottom of a white wine glass.
Yeah, there it is. I found my thoughts right there. To circle back to the discussion. We're never going to get off question number 1.
We have so much to say that we don't know how to say it fast.
To be fair, we've never actually opened up properly like this though. So I think maybe that's why this feels like a therapy session.
It does actually feel like a therapy session.
Why don't you lie back and tell me how that makes you feel?
By the way, at that note, if you're actually hating it, write down below that you hate it.
Yeah,
but if you're loving it, give us a thing saying, love learning more about you. And odds are, if you're commenting at this stage, you've probably watched the last however long just passed.
I know, I feel like I was like, oh, has it been an hour?
We could keep Q&Aing for the rest of the year at this rate, because you guys ask a lot of questions and I love it. Absolutely love it.
I know, it's actually...
Because it is fascinating, because sometimes we feel like we're just out there in the abyss, floating, trying to create helpful content for people in Italy, and then you'll pop up and you're like, hey, we're here, and we're like, whoa, you guys are there, and then
you have questions for us?
Us? Us or Italy? Like, what do you want to know?
I don't know.
Yeah, so thank you again for the support there.
Yes, and what was I gonna say? Mish, get it together.
Give her a second to collect her thoughts.
So many truffles in my bowl. Okay.
What is that from?
It's from the Grinch.
Stop it. Self-loathing? I cannot cancel this. Sorry, carry on.
Dinner with me. 9 o'clock, soft with hunger. Tell no one. 10 o'clock, wallow in self-pity. 11 o'clock, stare into the abyss.
Okay, carry on. Are we trying these cookies?
7 o'clock, dinner with me. I can't cancel that again.
Are we eating the cookies?
Am I eating because I'm bold?
Should we rather finish talking?
Oh yeah. Well, stop distracting me with sweets, man. You know I have a sweet tooth. It's a problem. Oh
I don't think those are sweets.
That's what I was saying. I just remembered my thought. Thanks to the Vernacha. No, so the reason that I also started my secondary channel, where a lot of people were missing Matteo, and so was I. By the way, I'm not caught up on posting all the videos for that because I filmed a lot more, including our family vacation with him in Cape Town and with Matteo and his family.
You guys have a whole
you
world
guys have a whole plethora of videos coming up. But the reason that we started it as well was to bring everyone along. I mean, granted, now a few of my videos have been on my own without Matteo, but we have a life outside of Italy. We come from opposite ends of the earth, and we wanted to bring you all along with us to see these places that we're from and to be with our friends and family, and to, you know, we do go around quite a bit in our home countries, and we didn't want to not bring you with us. And
we can't give you a part of the journey without giving you the rest, and pretend like we're in the shadows the rest of the time, because
exactly
the rest of the stuff's actually pretty awesome. So it's like you can see it. You take a look. Look at her channel. Go look what that's like.
I mean, don't look at it right now because I haven't posted in a minute. But
no, you will be posting by now.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Go look at her channel. She would have been posting. It's a very long break, but she would have been posting. It's been
a long break because we keep shifting focus. It's like it's like all hands on deck, and then it's like, okay, now we can kind of split the work. Then it's all hands on deck. Then it's like, so there's a lot going between the two, and I'm building my channel kind of on the side so that when we are with our families in our different countries, which are interesting, you get used to a thing, but like they're cool, and we want to take you guys with us, and we don't want it to just be like interjected in our Italy content, like, oh, Pisa, then it's Cape Town. It just wouldn't make sense. So the reason for my channel was to bring you kind of with us on these other parts of our lives that very much make up who we are, and without breaking up the flow of the Italian journey. But I guess at the end of the day, what I am trying to say is that there's more to the two of us individually and also together than this journey, and we are trying to live to our full potential while bringing you along and providing value, while also staying true to us not burning out and hating it. A lot of people do start something like this and will quit because as much as you love something and you're passionate about it, it is very hard, especially for two of us to be relying on the same income, and you don't want something you love to turn into something you end up hating or resenting or wishing you had never even tried because it just kept kicking you in the gut.
Which we don't anymore. When we first started out, we weren't making much.
No, when we were first starting out, it was like this doe-eyed, bright-eyed, rose-eyed glasses situation where we wanted to see if we could do it, and we could do it. But then when it becomes your job, it actually needs to be sustainable. If we can't afford to pay rent, if we can't afford to buy the museum entrance or to pay for food, then the journey is just over. Yeah. The reality of a dream is that, like, it needs to be sustainable. Like, this is a dream, and I love that we're doing it, but without the funds coming in, it's very hard. And again, the reason we don't do memberships and things like that is because we already are trying to be consistent with what we're posting in general, let alone now if people are contributing monthly to uphold our end of the bargain. We never want to let anybody down. We are pretty hard on ourselves, I am not going to lie to you. We have our own standards. Regardless of YouTube, I feel like Matteo and I both have our own standards in life for the type of people we want to be, the type of work we would want to produce, the type of anything. We just hold ourselves to a pretty high standard, and we would never want to disappoint anyone, especially anyone who is giving us a monthly kind of contribution. So that's why everything we're using, like the Micha channel technically could have been the behind the scenes for paid membership, but we didn't want to do that because we just didn't want to put anything behind a paywall. Be like, oh, well, you have to contribute at least $5 or $10 a month to gain access to this other part of us. We just wanted to put it out there for everybody to enjoy equally.
On that note, YouTube Premium, the best subscription you can possibly ever have.
This is not sponsored by the way.
This is not sponsored by YouTube Premium. Pay in South Africa it's 80 Rand, which is like...
In South Africa, everything's cheaper. Like Amazon's $5, Spotify's like $2.
South African YouTube Premium is maybe like $6. But best investment ever. Do not ever have an ad
That's
again. Like, I mean, that's next level.
I know.
If you're finding ads annoying even in our videos, which we don't place, by the way, they are placed there for us. We don't see ads on anybody else's videos because they're all YouTube Premium. Best investment.
I know. I actually forgot we have premium. When you're like, I wonder how many ads. I'm like, what do you mean no ads play? I forgot that you signed us up for premium.
Sorry about the ads, by the way.
Yeah.
And here comes an. I'm just kidding.
And no. But the ads, actually, perfect segue into our next question. I'm sorry, we are moving through these very slowly. I just feel like we have given you guys zero insight into our actual lives, so that's why I feel like this is taking a bit of explanation.
At this rate, this is part 2. Welcome to part 2 of the podcast that we didn't finish last week.
This is why we do chapters, so you can easily make your way through.
Lord knows how you're doing chapters on this.
You're right, this one's not getting chapter.
Our life, chapter 0.
Our life, chapter 25. This is probably the 50th portion of this point. Is YouTube our full income, 100%? Do we do anything else on the side? And the answer is yes. It is our income. It is our full job, more than a full-time job for 2 people. YouTube is 100% of our income. How do we make money? When you see an ad, even if you skip it, it's still like there's a whole algorithm there. So
even
if
you're on premium,
it
gives us a portion of the money. So
exactly. So that is how we make our money. It is through the ad revenue of YouTube. We've reached out for sponsorships. We have taken none of them. Again, like I stated earlier, we are just not comfortable at this time to be doing deals with brands and things we don't necessarily believe in or have used a lot. When we recommend anything that you guys have seen, it's because we are actively we like it and we want to share it with you. That's the end of story there.
On that note, have you heard of Squarespace?
Ew. Surfshark VPN. To be funny, I actually do use Surfshark.
Yeah.
They've emailed us. I'm not taking
if
it.
you don't like we could give you Squarespace sponsorship, but do you want to start a website? Probably not.
Probably not. And if you do, everyone else has a link. Oh yeah, Dad is Fat. PH asked us that question if it's our 100% of our income, and it is, but also coupled with Anna Z, if I'm not mistaken, asked us the same question and also asked us what we studied and if we have degrees. When Matteo and I both have our bachelor's degrees, I'll speak for myself because you're BCom. I don't understand how the British people do it. I have my bachelor's from Loyola Chicago.
I don't have a British degree.
I don't know, man. You do like a BCom thing. We don't say that in America.
Okay,
so I'm not going to talk for him. He can tell his thing. But I do have my bachelor's degree. Funny enough, I started in political science for 2.5 years because I thought I was going to be an ambassador for the UN. And then I decided I didn't want to do that because I just can't cry that much in one lifetime. So I changed my degree to advertising and public relations when I transferred to Loyola Chicago. And that is my degree. I minored in marketing, but I don't really care for I'm not going to lie to you, the SEO and the data analytical part of marketing, which I know is very important. But my whole life, I've loved acting. I've loved just the creativity, the entertaining, the connecting with people. And so that is what led me to advertising and PR, public relations, because I do love to connect with people and just kind of see a common message and just things that bring people together, making them laugh, making them feel good, making them feel fulfilled and things like that. So so that's what my degree is in. Matteo has his...
SEO, by the way, is search engine optimization. It's so that you can take our thingy and put it somewhere on the internet so that you can find our thingy.
It's about placing it, and it's very important.
It is.
But I'm a creative person, so when I put analytics on something that's supposed to be a creative thing, it's very hard for me because that's not why I'm doing it. But you got yours in marketing.
I have a Bachelor of Commerce degree in marketing that I've never used. We should seriously try these bloody cookies.
I'm actually getting quite hungry.
I think we've answered enough questions
for now. For the fact that this is probably 2 hours worth of thing. We will circle back. There are several more questions. Can I have a cookie now? The truffle
They're
beer.
not cookies,
the truffle
though.
beer has long been finished.
I need the phone so we can actually say what this is. Okay, hold on. Cavallucci. Rich Italian Christmas pastry prepared with anise,
I love that.
walnuts, candied fruits, coriander, and flour.
Coriander, like cilantro.
Yes, they are Siamese in origin, and the name translates approximately to little horses.
I knew it. That's why I
That's
said like knights or horses.
The chewy biscuits traditionally use Tuscan millefiori honey as an essential ingredient in the dough. Can I have my cookie, please, my love?
Yes, my lord. What is it, a little horse?
It's a little horses.
What is it, a little horse?
Just put the cookie in there. So, yes, it's heavy, eh?
That's what I was saying. I was like, okay, it might be actually packed. It might actually be worth the price that we paid because it does sound like it. Although the coriander.
That smells like
This is why I don't like eating in public. I just got.
I gave you a serviette to put it on.
In
It
America,
smells
we call it a napkin.
It smells like a little Sicilian biscuit.
That smells so good. God, I love
Who's
that.
going first?
We should go together.
Cheers. Wait,
Ah.
before we bite, I have to show you what
Well, why
it
did
is.
you do that?
Wait, I need.
That's not powdered sugar.
It's not focusing. Hold on.
That's not powdered sugar.
Oh, wait.
That's not good.
It is powdered sugar.
No, it just tastes like flour.
Oh, it is flour.
Oh, why would you do that to me?
Hold on.
That is unpleasant. This is not powdered sugar. That was the upset of the evening. By all means, move at a glacial pace. You know how that thrills me. I was excited and now I'm not. Why did you do this to me? This is the worst.
I like it.
Who does that? Who coats it in flour?
Get to the center. It's good.
No. Absolutely not. No.
Yes.
Who okayed this? Who?
It's a crisp. It did not say it was
Why
a sweet.
is it? Why is there flour? Why is it not powdered sugar?
It's a Christmas, not a sweet. It's a Christmas thing.
I feel like I'm being punished for something.
Oh. Dude, keep eating it. That is so
I can't.
good.
I can't even get myself to take another bite. Now I have flour all over me.
You have to get to the walnuts, man.
No,
Trace the walnuts.
No, I do not. I'm not a picky eater, but like, no. The flour on the outside completely ruins
What's
it.
wrong with you?
No, that is a terrible cookie. That is so bad.
I like it.
I am not a picky eater, but that's just not okay.
Okay, it's in.
They've purposely, like, you bite into it and the flour just completely sucks any moisture out of your mouth. It's almost like eating cinnamon.
There's a strong flavor of anise and candied fruit. And the walnuts are nice and strong. I like that.
No, that's the worst cookie I've ever had.
I'm gonna save that one for tomorrow though.
You do that.
How can you not like that?
If they didn't coat it in flour, I might be okay with it.
Pizza's coated in flour.
Does it absorb all the moisture from my mouth when I eat it? Or did they
Dude, that
actually
inside is so juicy.
did they actually use the flour to bake the item? No. I can't. That's too much.
That is delicious. This is going to come down to personal preference.
No, absolutely not.
That's hella unique.
It's unique, but like not in a good way.
I'm trying to stop myself from eating yours.
Go ahead, I'm not eating it. I've never been so parched in my life after eating something. Now I have flour all over my pants. I'm happy you like it. I can definitely taste the anise. My question is, why flour? Why not powdered sugar?
Because it's not sweet.
Right.
I don't know why I like that so much.
Doesn't it make your mouth dry?
That is so good. That's addictive.
I'll take that with a pinch of salt. I do not sponsor this message.
Mmm.
Sometimes I wonder about you.
Those flavors though.
How can you taste them? The flour sucked all the moisture out of your mouth.
You didn't let it sit on your tongue for long.
Yeah, I couldn't because I was dehydrated. So we're gonna end here. 3.5 hours later.
I thoroughly enjoy that.
I'm happy for you. I mean, I don't understand it, but I'm happy for you.
After that delectable note, that was delicious though. Seriously, what's wrong with you? You're supposed to be Mediterranean and stuff. But it's time for us to go.
We by no means finished answering everybody's questions, and we're going to keep doing a few of these as we go, so we make sure we get through everyone's questions. Sorry it took so long for us to get through the questions. It's just, yeah, like I said, this is the first time we've really actually explained what goes on behind the scenes. So I feel like there was multiple layers to it, but we really appreciate your guys' support, and thank you so much for still being here with us on the journey.
Thank you for those of us, our loyal fans out there. Sometimes we feel very alone, and then you guys pop up and you're like, what's up? And we're like, okay, what's happening, man?
This is why I don't feed him sugar after 8 p.m. It's not good. It's not good. Anyway.
We love you guys.
We do love you guys. Thank you so much, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
See you later.
In the byway.
Goodbye, Global Expat. What is my name?
Oh, jeez.
Cheers, Global Expat. What did I just say?
Shh, sweetie, it's okay. It's gonna be okay. It's okay.
Bye.
It's gonna be fine.